Toastmasters who wishes to remain anonymous at this time. He or she is interviewing members of one of our Toastmasters who have been members for more than 5 years. Later, the information will be compiled in a book chronicling the history of our remarkable club.
Cool.
Following some of the information Roy gave the interviewer, the title of Roy's talk is Looking Back Over 40 Years as a Winter Park Toastmaster. Please welcome Toastmaster Roy Scherer.
Fellow Toastmasters, and yes, what a lovely time to be alive.
Yes.
Yep. I wish I were. Anyway, someone is writing a book, the history of our club. They want to remain anonymous, so I'm not going to point them out. I can only say he or she is in this room. Oh. You want to come out? Raise your hand. Good. So, I was interviewed this last week, and I said, how many have you interviewed so far? He or she said, you're the first one. I said, why me the first one? Well, I wanted to get to you before sort of trailed off. So she said, he said, she said, they said. Can you remember a few significant things during your 40-year period that might, something that you did that might be of interest? So I said, well, let's see. Okay. I've been in 7 different locations in this club, different venues. We were out of one, the Langford was being demolished, so I took it upon myself. I said, I'll choose the next location. Fine. I found a wonderful, not found, I knew about it, golf course in Altamont Springs. Great food. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bar, dining room, separated by some flimsy partitions that they pulled out. It was so noisy in there, only if you could read lips when you had a chance to understand who was speaking. There was another problem. Some of the members objected to the fact that the Winter Park Toastmasters Club was now located in Altamont Springs. Bit of a problem, you see. So I knew we were going to have to move. I said, I'll find a better place. So off I went. Now we wind up in the sports bar at the Winter Park Tennis Club. There was a problem with that as well. The room was rather dark. It was run by the bar manager and his staff, and that was the problem. He had no staff. So oftentimes when you get to the meeting, the door is still locked. You close up the bar late at night, during this line going out in the street. I let us in at 7:30, hard to set up the meeting time. The club became quite unhappy with this location as well. There was a bit of an echo in the room. The speaker would sit down. You could still hear the last sentence or two, which was a bit disconcerting. Incoherent even, whatever that means. So I said to the board, look, I'll find another location. No, don't worry, that's okay. You've done your job. Historian, for the record. One time in the Winter Park Toastmaster, august history, we were not in Winter Park, we were in Altamont Springs. 2 times in a row, we were in a sports bar. Somewhat historic. Another thing that might be worth mentioning in this history is that for some reason I've gotten the moniker of the bar dater, the saber who comes to you in the closing of your career and volunteers to drive you to Toastmasters when you are quite ill. Now, this it happened 3 times. It was kindness. The Toastmaster was not feeling well. Couldn't drive anymore, so I picked them up, took them to the meeting. They died shortly thereafter. Oh. Had nothing to do with my driving. Second person. Carl Lanigan, drove him a long time, passed away. Michael Rubin. So I was getting the reputation that don't let Roy drive you to Toastmasters, no matter how ill you are. As a matter of fact, our dear friend, departed Carl Reiter, many of you in the room obviously remember Carl, was quite ill. I said, Carl, I'll drive you to the meeting. No, no, no! Don't do it! And another dear departed friend, John Nuccitelli, liked to tell the story that Carl begged him, don't let Roy drive me to the meeting. Please, please, please. And then there was a time when I used to plan the Christmas parties. Also historical. We had one party at the Mason, Mason Jar, nice restaurant. I signed the contract, didn't realize that they closed the restaurant at 9. People were sitting down, finished eating, right after the lights started blinking. That was the shortest Christmas party they ever had. How many of you remember the time I set up the party at Dumpster? Now that was remarkable and historical because we didn't have any food. They sold me on the idea of heavy hors d'oeuvres. We got there and there was a shrimp here and there, and I was horrified. Sticks of celery and heavy hors d'oeuvres. And I was thinking, how do I explain to people that this is the main meal you paid $15 for? I went into the witness protection program. Now the good thing is, I believe there's a celestial place for Toastmasters. That our dearly departed friends and in time will be together again, enjoying Toastmasters in heaven or wherever. And we can give hour speeches, 2-hour speeches, 5 to 7 minutes, doesn't matter, we have nothing else to do. And we're friends again. How nice is that? I had a dream last night that the current president of the Celestial Club met with me.
Oh.
The person looked a little like Carmelo, only better looking. And said, Roy, I have good news and bad news. The good news is there is a celestial heaven for Toastmasters, Winter Park Toastmasters. So what's the bad news? He said, next week you'll be speaking.